Greetings, peace, everyone. Welcome to Community Radio. And I am your host, Kim. I'm also the facilitator of the class-based webinars on SaduluHouse.com. And so before I start, I just want to give you all some information about those webinars and some of the classes. Sadulu House is the class component of Anu Nation, and this is where you go to sign up for the Anu spiritual training, as well as sign up for any of the class-based webinars that we offer. All the information that you need is there, and it's located in our store. So I would like to encourage you to check those out. And the reason why is because sometimes once we come into spirituality, a lot of people just kind of, we just jump straight into ritual, not really knowing what we're doing, but we just kind of intuit and feel our way through it, and we don't know if we're, making contact or if we're, actually communicating with the energies that we want to communicate with, and that's just because we just don't know. And so a lot of times teachers and things may skip over this and just kind of take for granted that everybody knows how to light a candle, everybody knows what they're saying or what they're doing when they pour libations. Everybody knows how to smudge themselves. And sometimes we do it wrong, or we do it in a way that's not effective. So some of those things we break down in these classes. So, what is candle magic? How do you make candle magic work? How do you use water in a ritual? All these basic things before you actually get to do, before you do a full out, ritual that you may get from Chief or something that he may ask you to do. You really need to understand what you're doing before you do it. So that is where you go, SaduluHouse.com, and visit the store section. And so, I just wanted to cover that because we got some questions in the customer service box asking about rituals, and that is the first part of where you would go. Second, if you want a ritual done or if you need a consultation on a ritual, like you want to know what you can do for certain things, or you want to get a ritual done, or if you don't feel comfortable with doing them yourself, you can go, you can send an email to questions@anunation.org, or you can go to seriousbitch.com, and you can find all those different services there as well. And you can check out Osiris Life for monthly services. So like if you are like ready to start something consistent, like a monthly, if you need like monthly one-on-one coaching, you should go to osirislife.com for that, to work with Chief on that. And that's consistent service. That's not like, I want to do it this month, I want to stop it next month, I'll pick it back up in a couple of months and come back. No, this is like consistently. It's really difficult when people do that, when you sign up for a monthly service and then you get it for 1 month and then you stop the next month and then want to come back maybe 2-3 months later and pick it back up because Chief is really busy. And to help you really solve some of your problems, like you want to make sure that he remembers your situation, not saying that he doesn't, but just, show some consistency, because that also reflects on if you'll even do some of the stuff that he tells you that you should do. Usually when people pop in and pop out, they're not doing any of the work. So that's like if you're really serious about straightening some things out in your life, make sure you check out osirislife.com. Okay, so today, again, I'm reminding everyone the number is 347-945-7680, and you just press the number 1 if you'd like to ask a question, make a comment, or anything. It's an open forum. There is no topic, but usually I'll start off with some type of topic just because everyone's like afraid to talk or something. I don't know what it is, and usually I have to talk about a good 30 or 40 minutes before someone will raise their hand and say anything. So there is no topic. We can talk about anything. Maybe that scares some people, that, to voice an opinion and you actually get feedback back. We live in this social media era where anybody can say anything and you not have to get any feedback on what you say. Like nobody, is going to kind of check you or question you about some of the things that you may bring forth. And that kind of makes us cowards a little bit, because if you believe in it so strongly, you should be able to explain it. Or if you feel you need to defend it, you should be able to defend it. But you should just be able to back up what you're saying, or be flexible enough or loving enough to hear what someone else has to say about it. And I think we're losing that, in this age, because we're not, that's why kids are so soft now. Like, you can't say anything to anybody. And then as soon as you say something to them, they snap back. They snap. They think they're being attacked instantly. So you can't offer any type of criticism. You can't ask a question. You can't do anything, because everybody's just used to being right all the time, and they can throw out any kind of comment they want and not have to worry about anybody saying anything back. Usually what happens is someone says something back to you, they'll unfriend you if they don't agree with your post or something. You know what I mean? Or, start an argument with you back and forth. It's just really stupid. So it's, we're just in that age now where everybody's an expert on anything, and no one can question you on your so-called, theory or whatever you brought forth, without you getting extra sensitive and snapping back at people. And so I kind of say that as a segue to the topic that I picked for today. And I was just wondering, are our leaders effective? And this kind of came on the heels of what Chief was speaking about when he was talking about alpha and beta males. Are our leaders effective? First of all, do we even need leaders? Do we have leaders? And if we do have them, who are they? And are they effective? And what constitutes, or what does someone have to be considered a leader? And Chief has gone over this a few times, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. Again, one of the reasons I brought this topic up is because I saw a post that someone shared I think it was on Facebook, of this female speaking on conscious men, and some things to watch out for, and pretty much saying they were hustlers, and they were kind of shisty and all this. She was bad mouthing it, pretty much bad mouthing so some certain conscious people. And another sister was kind of bigging her up, so they were sharing this. And I listened to the interview, and I checked this person out. And once I looked at a lot of the videos of this particular person, I'm just thinking to myself, is this someone that people consider to be a leader? Because this particular female was very boyish and very masculine, and she really seemed like a feminist, and was really kind of just had kind of like an angry, mean kind of tone to everything that she was saying. And so it just made me think, and I'm like, there were women sharing this video, and I'm thinking to myself, is this person considered a leader amongst women? And I find that a lot of women, and I would say these are YouTube people, YouTube leaders or whatever, are, how can I say it nicely? I find that a lot of them are single, bitter women. And a lot of this is just a lot of ranting after they've been hurt. So these are women that have not healed from whatever situation that they've gone through. A lot of them have no man, couldn't attract a man, can't keep a man, all this kind of stuff. But they're espousing all this information to a lot of women who are, uh, supporting her message. And it's obvious, it's so obvious in her tone, in her, physiognomy, like in her, just the way she looks, everything, that she is hurting and that she is in like deep, deep pain. And so it taints everything that comes out of her mouth. Um, you can just tell. And so I'm just thinking to this is just one example, but I'm just thinking to myself, like, are these the people that we're saying are our leaders? And are we so far gone that we can't even critique our leaders? Because I'm just wondering, like, especially, well, not especially for women, but women and men, like, do you align yourself with a leader if they are reflecting like your same dysfunction, or are you looking for a healthier model? Because just like this video that I saw of this woman, um, she has no platform. Like, it's just a bunch of just random, thoughts. You can tell um, a lot of the things and theories that she had just came from personal experience. It's not coming from, well, I tried to heal or I tried to get better, and I tried this or I tried that, or it's just a bunch of just, you know, venom coming from just a bitter past, or a bitter current situation. Um, what do you when you look at these people who have no um, culture, or no barometer for anything? It's just random stuff. Like, how do you select this person as a leader? No one ever questions, like, what is this person, where do they get these ideas from? What are they measuring this against? Some people, you can tell, like, they're a Christian, or they're a Hebrew Israelite, or they are, if it's a chef, if a person doing a cooking show, that they are an active chef, like they actually do cook. They have shown that they can cook. They have, a business that backs it up. But a lot of these people, and I see they have so many views, a lot of these people are just random people who are, like I said, just espousing stuff that has not gone, no one has challenged them on anything. No one has stepped in and asked, like, why are you so angry? Why are you so upset? Why do you keep saying this? Because it's obvious that it's coming from a personal situation. So, and it's not just the women. I see the same thing, with men who talk all this stuff about, women who has no woman, or who has no family, has no children, they're separated from their children for some reason, or, they give a lot of advice on things, but you don't know where it's coming from. Um, just, another example, like I said, you all know the so-called conscious, I call it the conscious chitlin circuit. um, the people who are involved, are these people leaders? And I ask that because here in the South, it's an interesting effect. In the South, these people seem like D-list celebrities almost, you know. Um, you hear from someone, blows through town, they're doing a lecture, or they're coming through to do a lecture real quick or something, and it's like a huge event, but just because you don't get that, you don't have that in the South. You know what I mean? You just hear about it on YouTube, and it's like, oh, this person is coming to town, or you go, it's almost like a celebrity kind of effect. But when you go east, when you go up north, like where most of these leaders come from, you see them in the community. You see half of them aren't doing anything. You see that the space that they're operating from is teeny tiny, like a teeny tiny little space, um, or it's nothing like you imagined it would be. You see that, you see how people in the community treat them or how they treat people in the community. So it's not all this, it's not like a celebrity kind of thing, up there. Um, for the most part, they come south once they've ran out of steam up north. It's like, nobody's trying to hear them anymore. They know who you are, so they either know that you're phony or that you're just not relevant anymore because they know you're not doing anything. So then they say, well, you know what? Let's go on a tour down south. So then they come down south and just rack up money, for these lectures and then go back home because the people down here they don't know, they don't know these people. Like I said, they seem to be, they're in the conscious loop. So it's almost like a little celebrity thing. And that's even, I recently saw that there's a what is it, Black Hood Awards, or what is it called? Like a conscious award or something, some type of award show or award celebration coming up where they have, like best speaker, best community, whatever, best female lecturer, best this, best that. And I just thought, wow. I have so many mixed ideas about that whole thing. It's like, really, is this what we're doing? So anyway, I just wanted to pose the question to the audience about leaders and how you feel about them. The number is 347-945-7680. Just press the number 1 to be heard. And again, like I said, if no one wants to participate, that's fine. I can just play music and commercials because this is a community effort and a community show. So it's for you all to kind of bounce some ideas and things off of each other. It's not just a place for me to grandstand. I'm not a radio host. I'm not anything like that. So this is for you. Let's see. We'll go to Brother Anwar, who always supports. Peace,
Hey,
Anwar. How are
greetings.
you? Greetings.
Greetings. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are
So,
you?
I'm all right. I'm well.
Good.
I'm well, very well. So, I got my comment on that would be that and I'm going to speak about myself real quick. There was a time when I went around and I spoke and I spoke and I talked 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 about what I'm learning and talked about what I'm going through. But I learned that a lot of the things that I was talking about didn't really come into effect until people seen me doing them. And you tapped on it earlier when you said, what are they doing? Do they actually have a successful family? Do they actually have a successful business? And that's the problem with the leaders today. And, it's easy for people that want something to get done or want a new life or change of the paradigm that we're in, and they just follow people that are talking and they don't step into the doing. And Chief really iterated it inside of his teachings and his ministry about doing. It has nothing to do with the religious spirit. We could do rituals and spiritual incantations all day long as we want, but if we're not actually doing the work, breaking sweat, breaking blood, breaking tears to do this work, we're not leading nothing. We're just going in a circle. And that's how my experience has been now. And especially like even on just previously, I did a ritual, and with the advisement that she gave me and the advisement that I've received through Anime Nation, I'm telling you, I see the energy done when you actually are in the process of doing something and then doing the ritual, or even doing something and then doing the speech and speaking about what you did and showing people that this is how I did it. Now, I'm not asking to be the leader. To me, if I was in that situation, I'm telling somebody about what I did, how I did it, and I'm showing them how I'm doing. I'm telling them I don't want to be your leader. I'm just giving you an example of what you can do. And I think what's happening with a lot of the people that are speaking nowadays, and you touched on it also about the fame and the social, what's the word? it's like a high school. Like, who's famous in high school? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? Most likely, the person that's usually the most famous in high school is like the person that's the biggest player on the football team, or the biggest cheerleader, or so the president of the school council or whatever. You know, so it's just weird. It's weird how us as a total population pick our leaders, because a lot, even like right now, if you take the election for example. Trump and Hillary. The only reason why we're picking them is because of who's most popular. No matter what both of those candidates have done in their past, nobody even looking at that. They're looking at who's the most popular, who's the one I should vote for, who do I like, who has the most charisma for me. And that's kind of what the same thing is happening in our communities. That our leadership is dictated behind how much charisma a person can have.
Right. Yeah.
So,
totally agree.
It upsets me too. It's something I feel passionate about, because I'm not gonna let somebody lead me that's never walked down the path. Me personally, like, you can't tell me to get rich if you've never been rich. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me to fix this car this way when you've never touched an automobile. You know, so I get aggravated by that, because I deal with a lot of men that do that. They come inside my business telling me how to run the business, and then they can't even run their own business properly. So
yeah, but they watched the YouTube video on it.
Yeah. Now YouTube, they click like and subscribe.
Man, it's like YouTube has really affected people in that way. People watch a YouTube video and think instantly they can do it. You know, I watched a YouTube video on it. You know, so now they're an expert at it because they saw a video on YouTube. I can do it. I think that's hilarious. You know, it's just, you know, it's that whole thing with I can do it and I really don't. You know, people not respecting training or scholarship or any type of process, having to go through a process to do or to get any information or knowledge. It's just like, you know, I ain't gotta, you know, I can be a lawyer. I ain't gotta take the bar. You know, I know just as much as this person. I didn't take the bar. You know, like I didn't go to college. I don't have to go to college. I know just as much as you. You know, they don't realize that the experience is part of the education. You know, as well as just, you know, the books and everything. So it goes back to, like I was saying, people not kind of respecting just scholarship or just process. You know, everybody wants to do things instantly. You know, like I said, let me watch a 5-minute YouTube video on it, and I got it. I got this.
It's that what is it? Olafin, that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That concept of you can't understand. You can't understand or even know what you're talking about until you've experienced it and you've gone through the whole situation. And like even me, like I've watched stuff how to fix my car through the YouTube, but it took me to actually go read a couple things to make sure I'm doing the part right. Also, you can watch somebody change the alternator, but you got to make sure the voltage is running correctly and make sure the alternator is functioning properly inside of that. So there's certain things that you gotta do your research, and you won't learn that function until you've actually installed the alternator and found out that the voltage regulator was off and it wasn't built. So now you have to go take the alternator off and rebuild the voltage regulator. So I'm telling you this because of the experience. This is what I had to do. I had to go read and find out what was going on with the alternator, and that was the voltage regulator. But the YouTube video showed me how to change take the alternator out of the car and put it back in the car. So it took application of the information that you're getting, and now since I have this information, if somebody else had an alternator problem, now I can say, look, this is what I did, and this is what I had to do to make sure the alternator was working to specification. You know what I'm saying? And that would I wouldn't consider myself a leader. I would consider myself someone that knows the knowledge that would show the next person how to do it. But I wouldn't sit there and say I'm a professional alternator specialist and I can do everything with it. But this is what I did. You know,
Right. Right.
it's by showing. I think once again it goes back to what Chief is always saying. Don't just talk, and don't just judge a person by what they say. Judge a person by what they're doing. Period.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of like I said, it's just I when I look at our, I guess, our people, so to speak, it's just interesting who we herald, or the people that we put on a pedestal to as like a teacher or a leader, and no one has an honest critique about this person. Like, there are some things like, yeah, you have to be, yeah, I should be able to ask this question. Like, I'm looking at this person, like, and I'm hearing what they're saying, but something is off, and we can't be afraid to, ask those questions. Something is not right. Or, has this person ever ran a school before? Does this person even have um an online school? Has this person ever ran a business before? Um, are they working with anybody? Who are they working with? Who's supporting them? Um, Simple questions that we just don't ask, and it's like you said, it's a popularity contest, or who can agree with my sickness, who is in alignment with my dysfunction. That's who we're going to put out front, because I don't want to fix my problem. I just want to find somebody else that has the same problem so we can gripe about it together. And that's what that particular the video I was speaking about with the female, that's what it seemed to be. So when this person had posted this, it made me look at her differently. Like, you agree with this mess? Are you hearing what she's saying, and are you looking at her? You looking at her face and hearing the tone in her voice? Have you seen her other videos? So it just makes me look at that person like, okay. So you're in the same position she is in, because this is not a balanced, healthy person. This is not a balanced person. Her judgment is off. It doesn't sound right. So again, like I said, this is just something that I thought about. It doesn't have to be the topic for today. If you would like to comment, call 347-945-7680 and just press the number 1. Again, this is for you all. I don't, have to get up here and just speak and speak and speak. Again, I'm not a radio host or anything like that. So that's not my thing. That's not what I do. But we do this so that we can provide like some type of community space for each other, so that we can kind of toss around some ideas or some opinions and things, and just see, like, does this make sense? Am I making any sense, or does this sound off? Because we don't get that anymore. We're in this age where everybody's right, nobody's wrong. And sorry, you can be wrong. Your feelings are not a good measure, or a good barometer of what's right and wrong. You don't judge things based on your feelings. We got to use some logic sometimes. So I'm going to take a quick break and give you all a few minutes to get yourself, I guess, get in, come up with some questions, or give you some time to kind of chime in on what's going on, and we'll be right back. Have you ever felt like there is mischievous energy being directed towards your home? Did you know that by combining pine needles, cloves, cinnamon sticks, sage, quartz crystals, and violet water, that you can make a floor wash that will dispel those energies and provide protection? Quartz crystals are known for their clearing energy. But aside from reading about it in a book, how do we know this for sure? There are different techniques that you can use to unlock the powers of crystals for various uses. In Sadulu House's class-based webinar, Crystals, We discuss these techniques and also learn more about crystals, such as how spirits enter crystals, how to work with those spirits, and how crystals form. For more information, go to saduluhouse.com/products/crystals-the-class. Some of us live in an awfully unhygienic environment. There's spiritual sludge and biological grime that abound everywhere. The need for regular detoxing and cleansing is a direct result of a compromised environment. Peace, everyone. I'm Kim, facilitator of the class-based webinars on saduluhouse.com, and I'm encouraging you to take our class on spiritual cleansing. In this course, we'll discuss ways to cleanse your aura, learn which plants and herbs are good for cleansing. We'll learn how to cleanse objects for ritual use, and we'll learn how to infuse water with the proper cleansing ingredients. So if you're interested in learning how to keep your aura clean, go to saduluhouse.com/products/spiritual-cleansing. All right, welcome back to Community Radio. Again, I'm your host, Kim. If you'd like to make a comment or if you have a question, you can call 347-945-7680 and just press the number 1. Today, I started the conversation out just talking about leaders and, are leaders effective? Do we have any leaders? And what qualifies a person as a leader? How do you choose a leader? So, again, this is an open forum. You don't have to talk about what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get the ball rolling here. And I'm going to go to 443 to join the conversation. Greetings.
This is Tasha. How y'all doing?
Peace. How are you?
Good. Sneaking out of my office again to talk to y'all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I was just listening to the show, and this whole thing with the leaders, man, I'm at a point now where I'm not even looking for one anymore. Mm-hmm. Because, I've pretty much, absorbed myself with all the lectures, all the speakers, all the, quote unquote, like you said, the people who are going through the conscious Chitlin circuit. If you name one, I've pretty much listened to at least 4 to 5 of their lectures that they put out there. Mm-hmm. And all of them do make sense to a degree. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to forever stand on this platform, is that everything starts within you and then within your home. Mm-hmm. I can't look for this strange man or woman to lead me when he or she is just as flawed as I am, if not more sometimes, mm-hmm. And as me being a woman, I just have to do what feels right to me and for my family. And, on the other hand, it's kind of unfair, too, because these so-called leaders are human, too. They're going to be flawed. They're going to, have scandal and things like that. Do we throw the baby out with the bathwater because, I don't know, they got caught smoking weed in a hotel or something? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How, I guess that's more of a question than anything else. Mm-hmm. Who is this perfect, mythical person that's going to lead us all to the promised land? I don't think they exist.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting you said that, because I remember Chief doing a show where he said just that. At this point, we don't need leaders. We don't need leaders. One of the reasons why is because leaders of organizations, they always get infiltrated, and this is how movements are dismantled. because they can take the head out. You know, if they can put a target on the head, they can dismantle the whole organization. And that's part of another part of what I was going to get at is can we look at our so-called leaders and critique them honestly and say, you know, yeah, Brother Malcolm was a brilliant man and he did so much for us, but he was a little hot-headed. Like maybe, you know, or this is where he went wrong, or this is where that person went wrong, or this is where that person went wrong. Can we do that? You know, because I find that a lot of times we don't. Not because I'm, you know, we're not looking for that that perfect leader, but I just find that sometimes we don't critique things enough. And I'm not saying, you know, you're looking for a godlike figure, somebody that's spotless and perfect. But some of the things that they may say or put forth, you know, just ask them, like, where did you get that idea from? Where does that come from?
Yeah,
you know,
and I think we're just kind of afraid to do that because they're supposed to be the leader. So it's like, oh, well, they got it. They already know. They've got it all ironed out. You know, it's cool. We don't need to, you know, interview this person. When in reality, we probably should. You know, what are we doing? Where is this going? Where's the money going exactly?
Right.
You know, what are we gonna do? You know, long term, short term, you know, things like that. And I think people are a little intimidated by asking those questions. I mean, shoot, you have people who go to doctors for checkups and don't ask the right questions. And this is about you, your health. You know what I mean? And you're still not going to ask all the questions that you need to because either you're embarrassed or, you know, you're afraid that you may sound ignorant or anything like that. So, I mean, asking a quote-unquote leader, okay, you want me to donate $100 to this cause. Well, what's going to happen with the $100?
Right.
You know, I need to know where that $100 is going to go because it's not a lot of money, but I'd be mad if I just lost $100. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
I don't know.
And, you know,
I mean,
it's interesting that when sometimes when you do ask the questions, how you get snapped back at. Like you'll get how they will bite your head off for asking a question. And to me, this is a sign of, one, you know, you don't know what you're talking about because you wouldn't be so offended. But, you know, it also speaks to a character deficit. And just like, what are you getting? You know, like, what are you getting? You're asking me for my money. I'm just asking, what do you need it for? You know, so it's like, you know, why are you getting so upset if someone asks you? That means your plan is not as well thought out as you say it is, because you should be prepared to answer those questions immediately. Like if my daughter comes to me and asks me for $20, she should already know that I'm going to say, what do you need it for?
Exactly.
That's coming like as soon as you finish saying it. So, you know, there's some questions like we should just they should already just be prepared to answer. And when you get a snapback, you know, like they're biting your head off, it's just, you know, it's like that's not something a leader would do. You know.
But I wonder if this is the same kind of scenario as what Chief was talking about the other day on the show, where it's like, why are we expecting people to just do things for us? Like with the whole African-centered school thing and all of that. Like, let's just kind of squash that whole idea and do for self. You know, even if we have to start individually and then work up to a collective, small collectives that turn into larger and larger collectives.
Well, that is the Anu perspective. That is the Anu perspective, because like I said, Chief has already said, you know, years ago, like he does not consider himself to be a leader, and we don't need leaders. So, that has already been explored, but I was just posing the question to those who may frequent, the lecture circuits, because you have some people like they go to these lectures like concerts, you know what I mean? They won't miss it. And I think part of that too is we're still a little addicted to the church model, where we just want to hear somebody talk. Like, in the South, they were like, oh, they talk real good this Sunday. Like,
right.
like what? I think it's still, somewhat of an addiction to that whole thing. But it's just, I just wonder, like, are we? And to go back to the whole snapping back thing, it reminds me of, like I said, I used to teach, and some of the kids would, like, if a student or someone got into an argument or a fight with someone, it could be over the stupidest thing. She looked at me. He looked at me funny. They stepped on my foot and didn't say excuse. When I look at how quick children react to anybody saying anything to them, like instantly, like they're ready to just cut your head off as soon as you question why they did something, or you know what I mean. But it's like when the adults do it. So of course this is where they're getting it from. And then, like I said, not to mention the whole social media culture where you can just say anything and nobody will say that's crazy. But even when you see adults, I see it reflected so often in kids, how they'll be completely rude. Someone will be completely rude to you, to another student or something. And then when that student asks, why did you do that, or says something back, I mean, it's just an instant fight. Like they can't, they have no emotional control at all. But again, it's reflective of the adults.
Yeah, and apparently now it's about to be celebrated, like you said, the Black Power Awards that's coming up. I just heard about that a couple days ago, I guess. Okay. And I had mixed reviews about it. On one hand, I'm like, okay, well, there are some people out here on the ground really doing some work and, helping folks out and things like that. So I guess they should be celebrated.
Right.
And maybe that would encourage others to step out and, help and contribute as well. But at the same time, are you feeding certain people's egos that doesn't necessarily need to be fed? And if you are about community work, just do it.
Right.
Just do it. And whether you get rewarded or not, I mean, you give and you take, The reward should be is that you did it and someone was helped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had mixed, Black Power Awards, that's what it is. I had mixed feelings about it too. I was like, yeah, we should, be celebrated for the work that we do, or the work that we put in, but it's borderline this whole celebrity thing. This whole celebrity worship kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, every time we get ready to do something, we always have to copy someone else's model of what it should look like. Like, I feel like there's a way that we can celebrate each other and celebrate the things that we do or have accomplished, but is like a Hood Awards, like a BET, MTV style award show, like, is that the way to do it? You know what I mean? It's like we can't, like, we're not unique in our ideas. The creativity is lacking. It's like, just like HBCUs. Oh, we need colleges too, so let's do it just like the white people, but we're gonna put black faces behind it. Oh, this is the or we'll be quick to say this is the black version of that. This is the black version of that. Well, when are we gonna create the standard? Let's create the standard.
Exactly.
Instead of always giving a black version, So
it's
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I think for most people, it's. I would imagine it's just kind of hard, and like Chris Rock said one time, you don't want to be the first black person to do anything.
Right.
Like that's a lot.
Dave
of
Chappelle,
pressure.
yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like that is a lot. And just now I'm thinking about when I was maybe in middle school. And that's when our mom first introduced us into the Ifa tradition. Mm-hmm. So I was so excited. You know, we went down to, I think Oyotunji is in Sheldon, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I haven't been in years. But anyway, we would spend summers there, and, you know, we got to stay at the king's compound and all these ceremonies, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. You know what I mean? So we go back to school in the fall. I couldn't wait to tell everybody about this new thing that I did and that I'm living now, you know. And I knew that no one else was doing this. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be the popular one because I'm doing, like, this new thing. And so I go to school, and I'm like, yeah, we stayed in this African village. And they were like, so you went to Africa? And I'm like, no, that's the crazy part. I didn't even go all the way to Africa. This thing is in South Carolina. And I'm telling about the ceremonies. And, yeah, when I got back home, we sacrificed a hen for Oshun and blah, blah, blah. And everybody was like, what? And I got teased so bad. Oh, my God. They were calling me devil worshiper, all this stuff. And so what did I do? I put that down for years. Honestly, I did not get back into the tradition until 2 years ago when my mom passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and everything just came flooding back. Like everything. It was almost like she was yelling at me, like, do this. You need to get back into this because this is you. This is the true you. I didn't go through all this for nothing now. You know, get back in there. But I was so traumatized. You know, I didn't tell anybody my Yoruba name, nothing. Like, nobody knew about that stuff. I just packed it up and put it away for all my adolescent years into my adulthood, and it's just now. And now I'm struggling trying to get my children into it. My husband's on board, but I have damn near grown kids, and they're like, my boys tease me. Oh, mom's doing her spiritual stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's just let her light the candles and all this.
Right.
She's doing the spiritual stuff. We got to clean up the house. You know,
they just tolerate you.
And tolerate me, you know. And I remember Chief doing a show a while back about parents. I'm kind of going off subject here, but I think it all ties in. About how parents who are either new into the tradition or maybe they've been in it, but for whatever reasons they didn't want to expose their children to it, I guess in fear that they would be teased like how I was. So they'll do all the spiritual work on the back end on their behalf. You know what I mean?
And not include the kids.
And not include them. And that thing slapped me in the face like Mike Tyson. I was like, damn, that's me, because I stay getting readings for my kids. And then, you know, they'll tell me, okay, well, you have to do this, everybody, you have to do this, get the flowers, get the candles, the rama, whatever. And I do it all. You know, and they're just like, oh, okay, thanks, Mom, for hooking me up on the spiritual tip, you know. And that's it. So it's like, just to go back to the original point, I don't think anyone wants to stand out and say, this is what I'm doing. And no, I'm not necessarily listening to this leader, this person. This is what we're doing here in this household, and it's working for us. Maybe you should try it. Or not, you know, whatever. but this is some pretty good stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Wow. I know
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of I remember that show that he did, and for the most part he said sometimes you have to take just a hard stand and just realize, you lost that child. Like, they're not coming over there to your stuff. Maybe they'll revisit it, when they become an adult and they see that, all this other stuff doesn't work, but it's going to be hard,
Mhm.
like, once they, after 13 years old, to, like, try to pull them into something, especially if it looks different and it's different than what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's pretty much a wrap. And I mean, at this point, the hope for me is that, yeah, in their adult years, they'll
Mhm.
look back and say, "Oh, mommy did tell us about it." That's happening to my daughter right now. Actually, she's
Hmm.
in school in North Carolina. She goes to A&T, and she was taking a African studies course, and they
Mhm.
started talking about Yoruba religion, and she was so excited. Ma, oh my God, they were talking about all
So
the
now
stuff
she
that you
realizes
do.
mom's not so crazy. Yeah.
Right. I'm not crazy because now your professor pretty much confirmed everything that I've been trying to tell y'all. So now she's
Mhm.
like, I want to read. You know,
Yeah.
tell blah 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 to do me a reading so I can set up the altars and the shrines and all that. And her boyfriend are just, they got candles everywhere. I'm
Uh-huh.
so scared they're gonna burn the house down. But you know now, because someone outside of our house has confirmed that, okay, this is real.
Mhm.
This is not some spooky movie, hoodoo type
Mhm.
situation. It's actually real. It's actually a lifestyle. It's actually a way of life, and it works. Now
Yeah.
she's on board.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So
however it
just
comes.
another generation of that. Yeah. Like,
Right.
I didn't get it until late because I tried as a child, but my parents, like, we live in the Bible Belt, so they're not trying
Mhm.
to hear that African stuff. You know.
Right.
Um, yeah. So sometimes it takes a while for us to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for adding your comment and for commenting on the question. Like I said, it was just something I was thinking about when I was like, who, what qualifies a leader, or why are we so afraid to ask questions, you know,
Mhm.
um, to certain people? Because I just find that, especially even in the I Knew Spiritual Training, the first thing that happened, and this is why we offer those basic courses, is because a lot of times people come in and they just go on what they feel. Well, I
Mhm.
feel like I'm supposed to be this or I'm supposed to be doing that, and they don't get the results of whatever that they think that they're supposed to have. Or a lot of times what people do is lie. People don't realize that. I got to say that. Some of these spiritual experiences people say they have, they're lying. So don't try to compare your success or your stage of development with theirs, because a lot of times people are lying. But
Yeah.
uh it's just, when people just go on feeling, all the time for everything, like, your feelings change from one minute to the next. It
Yeah.
changes all the time. You're not going to feel the same way an hour from now.
Mhm.
It's just not a good way to measure things. And so when you get these people who, you know, go on, YouTube or whatever, and they have no they have no basis for any of the things that they're saying. They're just going off of, the fact, like I said, well, I was hurt. They may have been hurt, and of course they may not even mention it, but it comes out in their speech. It comes out in
Mhm.
their mannerisms and in their, inflection and stuff in their voice. It comes out like you're just bitter, or someone
Mhm.
hurt you and you haven't healed from it. So how can you be a healer? That's the first thing everybody wants to do when they come into spirituality, especially the women. Oh, I'm a healer. I'm a healer, but they're still traumatized from so much stuff from their past that they have not healed from, and you can just hear it in their voices.
Yeah.
There's like even when I was listening, I was listening to the lady's voice, and she has such a harsh, loud, manly voice. And I just thought, like, is no one else hearing this? Like, I thought she had like the voice of a rapper or something. Like, I thought she was about to start rapping in a minute. But it was like, it's such a manly, just a manly tone and a manly voice. And I'm like, nobody is catching this. Like, so when you couple that with just the message that she's sending out, like, you can tell this is not a person that should even be speaking on this topic, but, I guess people don't, really do that anymore. So it's just, like I said, they align themselves with, well, I'm hurting, so this person is talking about hurting, or this person sounds like they went through the same thing I did. So, yeah, I'm going to spread this around.
Yeah, but then what's the solution? Okay, I'm hurt. You're hurt. What do we do about this? That's why I'm tuning in. I was hoping you would kind of break up some solutions of
the solution is listen to someone with some sense.
Right.
It's like like the conversation we had the other day about just women and development. Like, if you are going through something, like, why would I listen to another bitter single woman who has had failed relationship after failed relationship? No, I'm going to go to someone preferably possibly older than I am, who has a little bit more wisdom, who has had a successful relationship, who has held her family together, and speak to her.
Right.
Not someone that is possibly dealing with the same issues I have. And I think the thing is, too, it's like you can tell, like you can hear it in a person. You can, I don't know, maybe our antennas are just that shot that you can't hear it. But you can hear and you can feel when a person is being truthful with you. Like, when I think back and I listen to some of the people that a lot of these leaders regurgitate, like Dr. Clark or Amos Wilson, like, you can listen to them and tell, like, they are telling you the truth. They are not up there to try to just gain followers or listeners or, whatever the case may be. Like, this is something that's really sincere. They're coming from a sincere place, and they're telling you the truth. They're not lying to you. Dr. Ben, all these people, you knew they were telling the truth. You knew they weren't speaking from a place of, well, my woman did me wrong, so now I'm against all black women. It's
right.
You can hear it. So I don't know if our, like I said, if our antennas are just broken, or, or what the case may be. But there, like I said, it comes with those qualifying questions that we have to be able to look at these people and kind of ask like I said, listen to their voice or their manner. What are they speaking about? What are the other videos that they have? What are they saying? Like I said, here in the South, like, you can't see them in their environment. So we treat them like little celebrities. But I know, like, when I go to New York or wherever, it's like you see them. People know you.
And they're just like regular.
Right. It's just a regular person. And you see them in their everyday thing, and you say, oh, okay. That's what you do. So I don't know, just a question, but I think we just have to first acknowledge that we are damaged, so that when you hear someone else, you can hear the damage in them and say, no, wait a minute, like, no, sister, that's not right. That doesn't make sense. It's not right to be in that situation. It's not right. That's the wrong behavior. no, you responded in the wrong way.
Mhm.
To be able to tell another person that instead of, just co-signing any and everything, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to co-sign than to critique. You
Obviously,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, again, who wants to be the first? Who wants to be the oddball?
Mhm. Right.
Nobody. And if you're already damaged, and I mean, like you said, it's so relatable, and especially with black women being assertive and loud and boisterous
Mhm.
and stuff like that, that's associated with strength. Oh, she's strong. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's get with her because she could tell you how it is.
Mhm.
She's feisty. You know,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with a little spice. I can get a little spicy if I need to, but it's a time and a place for everything, and it's. I don't think it's. I don't think it should be seen and spread and gone viral on social media. We have
Mhm.
enough, you know, stereotypes and plights that we gotta try to dead anyway. And so
Yeah.
you're gonna, get in front of the world and act crazy like that. No, I don't necessarily agree with that either. Um, but like I said, I think it just all starts with yourself, then your family, and then your little collective, and then the
Mhm.
little collective, slowly grows until we have a larger collective. And maybe,
Mhm.
some people feel rushed. Maybe some people feel like, well, we don't have time. We got to pick somebody and do this thing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Times are wasted,
Mhm.
but you can't rush a revolution, I don't think. We have as
Yeah.
much time as we have, and we don't know how long that is, honestly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my two
Okay.
cents.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sister Tasha, for calling in. And I also want to send out a shout to all the women that were on the call on Monday. For those of you listening, if you are female and you're a student or of the training, or you're a listener and you're looking for that community, you can join us every Monday. We have a conference call or a hangout together where we discuss some spiritual concepts and just check in with everybody to see if they're okay. If you would like to be a part of that, make sure you go to ournewlifeglobal.org, and there's a form there that you can fill out and let us know how you want to contribute, and let us know that you want to be a part of what we're doing. So Tasha is a part of that, and I just wanted to say peace to Tasha and all the other ladies that were on the call. We had a pretty heavy session Monday,
Yeah, it was
but it was
heavy, but
good.
it was great. It
Mhm.
was really
Mhm.
good, and I hope that more women will join this Monday, and like I said, just
Yeah.
growing that collective.
Right. Right. And it's not a male bashing sister girl group. Let me just get that
No,
out right now. We are
yeah,
actually trying to do some things where we can start to heal each other and get some right sense in our heads and kind of get some of this poison out of us. Get away from some of this damage that American culture has done to us. So it's not that type of call. So just keep in mind that there will be women there. Like, I understand if you have a position, but we're trying to give you a healthy perspective. We're trying to bring some sanity to our condition. So you will get that medicine. You know what I mean? But it was a really good call. So again, if you want to be a part of that, make sure you go to ournewlifeglobal.org. Okay. Thank you, Tasha. Enjoy your day.
oh, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, everyone. We are about an hour into the show, and the number to call is 347-945-7680. Just press the number 1 if you have a question or comment, or if you would like to be heard. Again, like I said, this is a community effort, and I'm not just here to, take up airspace or airtime with all of my thoughts and opinions. Um, so make sure that you join the conversation. So let's see if we have any. We have a few callers on the line, but no one has their hand raised. So let's see. I'm going to break to another quick commercial, and I'll be right back. Are you ready to take action and rise to the next stage of your evolution? Then monthly life coaching services at osirislife.com are just for you. Osiris Life does not just focus on spiritual development. We offer a holistic approach to helping you realize your goals and teach you the tools to overcome any barriers to your success. Services at Osiris Life are provided on a monthly basis and include, but are not limited to, spiritual consultations and one-on-one coaching, instructionals via podcasts and videos, life mapping and goal tracking, anonymity, spiritual work done on your behalf, and there are 3 package levels to choose from. Take the steps to get your life on track and flourishing by purchasing a subscription package today at osirislife.com. What is water? Why is water used in so many rituals? Why are female deities linked to water? Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu is credited for saying water is fluid, soft, and yielding. But water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome what is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong. What do those 3 examples have to do with magic and ritual? Gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of water by enrolling in Sadulu House's class-based webinar, Water Magic. To sign up for this class or any of the other classes offered by Sadulu House, go to saduluhouse.com/store. Okay, welcome back to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and that was just a couple of commercials about some of the services we offer. Since no one else has their hand up, I'm going to go ahead and do some quick new announcements. Let's see, someone's hand just went up. Let's see, 201.
Hey, peace.
Peace. Greetings, Chief.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm maintaining. I just came back from the crematorium, taking care of some ancestral business.
Mm-hmm.
So, driving now through the city, and I just tuned in. So, what's the topic? What are y'all talking about?
Well, no one has stated a topic, so I just kind of picked one, and we were speaking about leaders. And so I was just asking the question of what qualifies a person as a leader, and can we not honestly look at these people and do like a critique or like a gut check with some of the people who posture themselves as leaders? And it came to me after watching a video of a sister that this video was being passed around of a woman who was kind of speaking out against conscious men, calling them vultures, saying that they were, using women and there's something wrong with them and, all these negative things. And then when I went to her channel, most of her videos had the same kind of tone. And so to me, it was obvious that this was a person that was kind of bitter and that has gone through some hurts or some trauma that she hasn't healed from. So all of her messages are kind of laced with this animosity, and no one's picking it up. And so I was saying that for me, the person that posted that video, it made me second guess her or look at her differently, because I was saying, a healthy person or a person with a healthy, sane mind can recognize that or spot that in a person. So it made me feel like, well, maybe this other person has gone through these same traumas and she hasn't healed. But sometimes these women and the men, posture themselves as healers. but there obviously, there's obviously some sickness or some, like I said, some anger there underneath.
Right. Well, in many instances, your leadership is the criteria for leadership is going to be based on the survival criteria of your environment or of your community / group. So what makes a leader, like, a lot of, like you said, people are posturing themselves as leaders, but if you're not a part of the same group, their qualifications for leadership may not match what your actual group needs. So, for instance, if your group is suffering a food shortage, and your leaders speak nothing about the acquisition of food, then in effect they would be ineffective leaders for that particular group. So one of the first things that needs to happen is, and that kind of happens on a personal level. You need to take assessment of your own personal needs. A lot of times the people that we claim as leaders are just those who seem to know the most. So if an individual comes along and they're really knowledgeable and they're breaking it down, and as we like to say, they're dropping it,
right.
Then we say, okay, this is a part of the new leadership, or this is a leader. But just because someone has the ability to decipher things, or some people have really exquisite memories, they can just recall a lot of facts, it doesn't mean that they necessarily have the seasoning and the nerves that are required for proper leadership. So, a lot of it first, like, for instance, if you're a hurt person, like you're saying, using your example, and you have decided that your bitterness and your misery is something that you want to hold on to, and you don't want, because sometimes we go through situations in life, and, like, you may be upset with someone, and someone will tell you, what, write that person a letter and never mail it, those type of things they tell you to do. And you might make the decision, like, what, yes, I'm upset right now, but I want to be upset. I don't want to lose this feeling right now. I want to hold on to my misery just a little bit longer for whatever reason. So in that instance, if you want to continue that vibration forward, and you may even be shaping your existence to some degree around that feeling, then you will want to find a leader who is bitter as well, and it's going to continue and drive that forward. So in effect, that person would be a good leader, depending on the person. The problem is sometimes we forget that we all come from, not all of us, but some of us come from unique ethnic groups and unique even cultural groups. And those different ethnic and cultural groups are going to have different imperatives based on the required survival mechanisms of those groups. So that means that we're going to need different forms of leadership for those different groups. And sometimes, we're amiss in our remembrance of that. So, a lot of times leadership is not qualified properly because we haven't even taken the first steps to become leaders of ourselves. And that first step is going to be a first self-inventory.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I guess it took Chief to try to kind of beat the bushes or shake the bushes. Now we have some other callers with their hands up. I'm going to go to 731. Greetings from Community Radio.
Greetings. How are you?
Greetings. I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. Greetings, Chief. Greetings, Sister Kim. My name is Shamika. This is my first time calling in.
Yeah, welcome.
It's a 2-year anniversary. Because I'm always listening and I'm always hearing Sister Kim when she was like, "You all need to call in."
Yeah. So you're a lurker.
Yeah, she's a lurker.
So I finally was like, I'm gonna do it today. but it's been 2 years, and 2 years for me. 2 years ago, I found Sadulu House, and I found Chief Yuya, and I've been listening to everything, and it's been a lot. And I just want to say, first, thank you to Chief Yuya and to you, Sister Kim, for the work that you all are doing. It is not going in vain. It's not. It's what you're talking about with the leadership. I think the reason why I feel a little starstruck right now, so let me get my mind together. The reason why no, you just don't understand your wisdom. It's very sincerely appreciated. And
what has it done for you, Shamika?
Accountability, responsibility, character, character, Chief. That's what I come back to is character. Sister Kim, the power of being a woman and understanding that role. And I remember one of the, I don't know what you call it, podcasts you did last year, and you were talking about the black family and how the black women have to realize that we've been romanticizing what love is and not looking at our own culture and what that means. And initially, because, as a teacher, Chief, sometimes, you do the gut punch. So sometimes it takes you some time, to like, wait. Right. At first, I was like, well, I don't know if I necessarily. Yes, sir.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You knock us out. So, you got to take some time. And but one thing I always do, I reflect on what you say, and I have to go back and look at it. And I agreed with you. And so, like you said, start a family. And so I took time to be, like what Sister Kim says, learn more about being a woman. And so started my family first, and then working on that leader within. And it makes me think back to what you were talking about this past Sunday with the alphas. Sometimes our community is calling for an archetype that we haven't seen before, but it's necessary. And my boyfriend and I were talking about that, and I was like, maybe the approach that we've been using is clearly not working for our community, and maybe something else is being called for that we haven't seen. And he was expressing his disgust about two conscious individuals who were going back and forth on Facebook, and I was like, well, I can understand your frustration. I said, but they're human, and I don't. I said, if something came out tomorrow about Chief, I wouldn't care, because Chief has put out so much stuff. So much material that has challenged me to be the leader of my life. He's not a messiah. That's one of the things that I loved about Sadulu House, is that it teaches you to tap into you. Like, that's what you do. It's not you're not going to put Sister Kim on a pedestal or put Chief on a pedestal. You're going to respect both, but you have to learn to respect yourself and be accountable for yourself. And because of that, I was like, I'm not in Chief's position or other conscious individuals who are out here doing this every day. I said, it has to take a toll on your spirit when you're out there doing it and you may not be getting paid for it. You know what? Sometimes they might get out of pocket, but I'm not going to just totally, throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I recognize, especially for our community, that's a plight that many of us are not willing to take. I said, we don't have any skin in the game. It's easy to sit on YouTube or Facebook and critique to different things, to host a show every Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 2, and you have to be out there and everyone else gets to jump in when they want to. Two totally different spaces, So I guess to go back to the topic of leadership, which brought me back to something Sister Kim said, is that I was telling my boyfriend, I said, we have to get connected, and because we need to be critiqued. We need to be accountable. And I said, you don't have to, when you're off by yourself, you never get to really see what your weaknesses are. But when you join with others, they help develop you. So I said, so you can go out and be the renegade, but what are you really adding? You're going to stay at that level, you know? But I look at what you all are doing, and you all are models for us of what it's like to put yourself out there. And even when you make a mistake, you still show up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to share. I just had a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was a nice testimony. Thank you. So it's not, you know, everything is not in vain. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So you have, you know, your family and everything going, and you're working on yourself. I really want to commend you for that. You know, like you said, it takes, and like Chica said, like character is shaped within a community. You can't just, you know, be in your own little bubble and, you know, not get any feedback from anybody. So, yeah. Thank you so much.
Share this part. Can I?
Yes.
Y'all hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the baby out with the bathwater. If something comes out tomorrow about me, if you find out, I'm sorry, I'm walking through the city. If there's too much background noise, just let me know. I'll try to find an alley or something.
Okay.
But if something comes out tomorrow about me, well, if something comes out tomorrow, it's going to be a lie. But if something, let's just say if something came up from my past or something that you couldn't stomach, you know, throw everything out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because let's say if you find out tomorrow that, you know, I just did something heinous. You know, I don't even want to put a name to anything like that. But, you know, I just did something just despicable or heinous. Then the thing is, that particular energy of whatever I did or whatever my character is going to soak up everything that I've taught you. Now, the reason why, or everything I'm teaching, the reason why I'm saying throw the baby out with the bathwater is because you shouldn't always be looking to me for the next lesson. So if like you said, I've put out so much information already, which is over 500 free shows and all that stuff, and lectures I've put up online, and I mean, I've been doing this for 26 years now. So, I mean, there's a lot of free stuff you can find, down to cassette tapes out there, you know. So there's already enough. And all those, I'm saying that to say 26 years worth of material, that stuff should have been owned and processed already. So it would be okay to throw me out at this point if you found out something funny. So let's say if I told you 5 years ago, every family needs to have a garden. Start growing your own food. I don't care if it's just some tomatoes and some skunk cabbage. But get your hands in the soil. Get your children used to working to eat. Let's say if I just said that. I'm used for an example. And then you found out, you know, tomorrow that I robbed a bank or something like that, which I don't think is a big deal, but let's say it was a big deal to you. You know, I got to have it. I got to have it. No, but let's just say if you found out something like that. Well, you should have already planted the garden. So you can say, okay, well, you know, he got me to this point, because you're going to have teachers like that sometimes. They're going to bring you to a point. And then you might see something. You say, I'm not really feeling this, you know, and you'll go to the next teacher. And that's perfectly fine. There might come a point where somebody will say, you know, Chief don't never comb his bed. I'm tired of looking at that old peasy bed. You know, I'm going over here and so-and-so. He got a smooth face. You know, it could be anything. But if you're applying these things as you're learning, then you don't have this storehouse of a to-do list, you know, which now constantly brings you back to me. You're not looking at, please speak next Sunday to say, okay, what's he going to say next? What's he going to say next? What's he going to say next? Because you should be applying and processing the things that you've already been taught. So, you know, just to that effect, my strong advice would be, no, when you see something foul, because that's what's happening too much, man. You know, there's a lot of these foul people out here, and we'll say, oh, so-and-so's a scam artist, or so-and-so's a crook, or so-and-so got caught up in another sex scandal, and this and that, but, man, but they're deep. But I wouldn't send him no money. I wouldn't give him a dime, but he's deep, man. I just take the parts that that I need from it. But you don't know what you need. That's why you're a student. That's why you're listening. If you knew what you needed, you wouldn't listen to them. You know, so there's got to be that measure of trust. So I would say when you find out some funny stuff, just cut the person, get away from it. You find out something funny about me, cut it, get away. We used to listen to Chief. He gave us some good stuff for the time, but then we found out he robbed banks, and now we're done.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't need to find a new teacher. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You know, your ancestors will provide in that sense. You know, a new teacher come along, but if that revelation comes to you, most likely it's because this is a time now where you shouldn't be under a teacher. That's why you found out. You know, because I mean, come on, I can do anything and hide. If it comes to light, it's because this was the time that it needed to come to light. You know, just like there was a time in the 90s where we lost a lot of our leaders. A lot of them were dying from funny diseases. They were getting killed because in the 90s and early 2000s, we came into a space where people had to start doing for themselves. So it wasn't about the rise of another black messiah. That was over. It's now, you know what, you get into these books yourself. You learn this stuff yourself, and you may find certain people you vibe with, and they may have organizations that you say, okay, yeah, I want to get with this because they're doing what I already want to do or what I'm already doing. You know, but that whole messianic thing, they were all dying off. Like Khalid Muhammad was our last one, gone. He was the one that had the potential to do it. Tupac he could have united the left, the east, and the west coast. Gone. Ain't gonna be no leaders. So you know, I would just add that to what you're saying, sis. And then I'm gonna go on mute because I'm walking down a busy space, loud space.
Stay away from banks. Okay.
I don't think so. I got the habit.
Thank you, Chief. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for your comment, caller. And I was going to ask you, make sure you go to A New Life Global to sign up. And, just let us know that you send your email and let them know that you want to be on the Monday call with us. Because I find a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, we don't have enough women speaking with a sane voice. So it's a lot of women out there just getting bad information. And even those who may be damaged, at least they have the humility to say, you know what, I need to fix my stuff. No, I make bad decisions. I have made bad decisions. I don't want to keep making bad decisions. And you know what? It's not cool being this bitter and angry with children, with me raising these children by myself. Somebody needs to say that, and another woman needs to hear that, because now it's like people think that that's a normal, sane thing to do and to be. It's not. Like I was just saying, I remember I said on one show, I was reading an article where it was saying that women, when they get older, the older they get, the easier it is. I mean, they have more cases of women becoming senile or Alzheimer's and, getting dementia. And that's because, notice these are all things that have to do with brain function and memory and things like that. So it's like a lot of denial and things that are building up and just not taking care of certain things. You know what I mean? And the older we get, because we don't, we kind of isolate ourselves. We're alone. We don't have families. We don't have that person constantly checking on us to say, just to see if you're okay, or to say, you know what, that was a crazy idea. What are you doing? Or just a person, a community there to check you, or to check you and to check on you. So they end up getting old and everything by themselves, and they go crazy. So it's like, I know that American culture promotes this, but it's just not cool. It's not. And somebody, and women need a sane voice. They need somebody to tell them, because like I said, now it's like even the older women are just as crazy as the 19-year-olds. You turn on the television, you watching, some of these reality shows, and I'm looking at them fighting and stuff. I'm like, these women are 50 plus years old. Like, what in the world? This is insane. So what kind of knowledge or wisdom can they pass on to anybody? So somebody's got to do it. Sister Shahrazad Ali, she tried, she got so much opposition. But we got to just stop it. Because I've even heard about these movements. What is it? Black men and black women going their own way or something like that.
Yes,
these movements
I saw that the other day.
Where people are, we're like done with each other and we're not dealing with each other anymore. It's like, this is so crazy. I mean, but at some point, like she said, we have to do some self-inventory and say, you know what? Okay, I'm wrong. That wasn't a good thing to do. That was a bad decision. I need to fix that. So,
yes. It's what you're saying. It kind of reminds me of when I was listening to the Chief Speaks from Sunday. The format, I like it because Chief is gonna. It's an approach where men and women are gonna have to be accountable, and that's why I said I had to sit myself down because I had to look at how. I didn't even realize it, Sister Kim, but like I was the perfect product of the American system of what they wanted for a black woman.
Right. And most of us were.
Yes, and it was not until I remember one of my friends was going through a divorce, and she had 4 girls, and she was divorcing her husband, and I was telling her, I was like, why are you leaving him again?
Right.
And she was like, because I'm not happy. And I'm like, and so my natural mind, I'm like, well, have you seen the studies of after that once he leaves at home, those girls are going to mature faster now because that male presence is gone. And although you may not think he is doing much as a father, in those girls' eyes, he was the world. And for you to, in order, for you to be happy, you separated, you left your husband, and you kind of like, I remember what Chief said, divorce for black women is totally different for divorce for white women.
Sure is.
Because now you destroyed your family all for, because you believe this lie that you deserve to be happy.
Right. And what is being happy? Yeah.
Exactly. And not really addressing the real issue in that, like you said, it's hard, especially for, I can only speak from the perspective of a black woman. It's hard when you have to look at yourself and say, I am my own problem. It's me. Yeah. Like I have to look at me, like what Chief was saying Sunday. I'm a boss chick, and that's so out of order. Like, why would you want to be that? And because you want to be in control, and it's like that whole sickness, and you don't even realize that you are sick. You don't, and that's hard. Because I was listening to you. Well, I went back and listened to the show Tuesday when you were talking about Hillary Clinton, and if she comes in. She's voted in as president, and I said, wow, I never thought about that because I know she's a Scorpio, and then I was like, her whole element, like, what is that going to look like? And then it just makes me go back to kind of something that Sadulu House, where our new nation talks about, the male and the woman, but the male gives direction to that energy. So I'm like, so if she's the president, who's giving direction to this energy?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
we're going to just be all over the place, and so I feel like something that you all have taught is, and that you're teaching is returning back to our natural selves. Really you gotta. For me, it was really just finding out about myself and what that is, and for a lot of I don't know. I think for black people, or for us as a community, it's hard to accept that because we want to believe that we are very progressive and that we are ahead, and we're not looking at. But our community is destroyed. We have a
right.
group of men who are afraid to even speak out because they're now our men are like, you know, I have a job, I go home, I want to lay on my couch and watch the game. That's it. I'm not bothered. I'm not trying to do anything extra. I'm not trying to rebel, you know. You need to just get in your place. That's where we are. And that's scary because it's, I don't know, I feel like where are we going? And I know I'm just kind of talking all over the place, but yeah. I don't know. I guess it kind of goes back to what you said about that leader. First, you have to look at the leader within and just really look at who you are as a person spiritually, and then in the context of our culture. And are you and that's as a business owner, as a black business owner, that was something that I had to really give a lot of I had to do a lot of work on that I've been trained. One of my friends was like, you know, when I would work with white clients, she's like, you give them quality service, but if it was a black client, just give them this. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I said 90% of my income comes from black people. I'm not going to hurt my people. But again, it's that, and then I would get, you don't know how to be a good business person. No, you're right, because you want me to operate within that paradigm. I can't operate in that paradigm. I'm going to lose my mind again. I've been there. I've done that, you know?
Yeah.
But like you said, that leader, and I guess going back to that character and looking at, for me, with my actions, am I hurting my people or am I helping my people? And that's kind of where I stop and go there. And that's definitely giving me a lot to explore and a lot to work on.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like you said, it's hard for us to just like you said, accountability. Because we've gone for so long with people saying, you don't point the finger. You can't judge me. Only God can judge me. And, of course, no one knows who, where, and what God is. So no one ever gets judged. And no one ever takes accountability for everything because everybody's right, you know. So, yeah, it's hard work. It really is. And, again, going back to, you know, a new spiritual training phase 1, that's what it's all about, you know, breaking through that. And that's why it's the hardest phase, and it takes the longest to get through, because people don't even realize that even going the course affects you on so many levels that people are just completely unaware of what it does. Just as an example, someone had a customer service question once before that was really rude. And he wrote in saying that, you know, the way Chief put the class together is not as it should be. Lesson 1 had this. Lesson 2 didn't have that. And I'm the type of person where I need a class to be taught to me this kind of way. And I was expecting for every lesson should be this way, that way, this way. And they're not even realizing that phase 1 is ministry to self. So this person was claiming to be almost done with the class, but could not check himself on that behavior that was just laid out. Like, there's so much wrong. There's so much wrong in there. How can you even say that you're halfway through this class? Like, there's so much wrong in what you just did, you know? So it's it works on so many different levels. It really does. And I just will that, like I said, our Monday sessions, and then I've got something else coming up just for the women as well, that this kind of starts a movement towards sanity. You know, like we are dying out. You know, we're becoming extinct. And it's really bad out here. And it's like, you know, we really got to get a grip on things. You know, you just don't know, like, who your kids are going to marry. What are they going to have to choose from when they get older? You know, it's a scary thing. It's scary. It's so scary.
Well,
I'm going to go to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say that what you just described, that's one of the reasons why you've been tugging on my spirit to call in, because I needed to be accountable, but also it's a time to show appreciation as well, because it makes me think back to one of was it Thunderground Thursday, I think, loyalty and entitlement, and how because you all are producing such valuable information in a free format, it's very easy for us to get entitled and feel like, you know, well, I don't have to. Wait a minute, this is free. They're bringing you groceries every Tuesday and Thursday for free, and you can't get on the line? Girl, check yourself. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your comment, and make sure you go to A New Life Global and join us on Mondays. Okay. I'm going to go to a Skype call. I think this is Brother Byron. Greetings.
Peace, Sister Kim.
Peace, Brother Byron. Peace. How are you today?
We're doing great, thank you. We're doing really well, thank you very much. And I've just been listening to the show for the last 30 minutes or so. But yeah, it's been very, very good. I gave a physical shout out when the sister called and she said she was a new caller, because I think
me too.
Yeah, well, yes. My wife said, "What's happening?" I said, "Nothing, it's okay." But yeah, but I just wanted to chip in on, you were discussing about elderly people in dementia, particularly people that are on their own. And I recently read an article that said that if individuals dance regularly or do martial arts regularly, then it significantly reduces the chances of getting dementia or Alzheimer's disease in later life, just by dancing regularly and or doing martial arts regularly. And it didn't say anything about having sex, but when I reflect back on the show that Chief did around dance, fighting, having sex is the same. It's from the same paradigm. Then I would just go to encourage everybody. You know, we can't be single. We can't be single, because even by being in a relationship and having regular intercourse with your partner, it's going to maintain your health, and it's going to open those neurological pathways. The physically, it's going to open those neurological pathways and help to keep you sane. So, and I'm not even talking about the spiritual part of it, because that's much bigger and much wider. But even in terms of maintaining our sanity and our minds, we're more likely to be healthy in older age if we're in a relationship with somebody rather than being on our own. So I just really wanted to share that. Yeah. And,
I'm glad you added that. You haven't seen many studies on that. You know, like you said, that there's a big push to be more active physically, you know, like you said, in sports or dance or take more walks and things like that. But like you said, just actual physical human contact, you know, does it, you know, and like you said, just being around other people who can constantly, you know, give you feedback. You know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, just isolating yourself in this little bubble and kind of just talking back to the TV all the time. Of course you're going to go crazy, you know? Just that physical human contact does so much.
Yes, it does. So I just wanted to share that, because when I read it, I was quite amazed that I was actually reading it was like an academic paper, but it was an academic paper where it said if you dance and do martial arts, you're going to significantly reduce the chances of having Alzheimer's or dementia. And I thought, wow, look at that. Yeah. So I'm going to encourage everybody to get with it and get active, man.
Get active.
Yeah.
All right, no everybody, Byron said get busy.
Get busy, yeah. No solo dancing or shadow boxing. Do it with somebody. Yeah.
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 Well, thank you, Brother Byron. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Problem. Okay. Good night. Right. Bye. Bye.
Peace. All right. So there you have it. Brother Byron said, "Get busy." Okay. I'm going to take another caller here. This is 615. They've been on for a while. Greetings, 615. Peace, Dietrich. How are you?
Well, hey, I want to give a shout out to 731. She been she went in on her first call. She said she did her homework when she called in. So I really appreciate how she showed everybody love. She said, kudos to y'all, kudos for what you're doing. That's always good to hear that you got. Because to me, when I hear stuff like that, that lets me know that there are allies out there that you can actually work with.
Right.
Everybody not just being silly. You got some people who really absorbing it, and that's always good to hear. So shout out to 713. If I remember correctly, she might be from the same area that I'm from. So way to do it right. I was listening at the show about I was talking about the sisters and the guidance and leadership, and I'm a living testament of that. Because like I said, I come from a background where my mother is a lesbian, and her girlfriend had a thing against men.
Okay.
And the way that she handled me was so disrespectful on so many levels, not because of the homosexual relationship. It was the disrespect that they was inflicting on me to disrespect my dad.
Okay.
To the brothers on the line, you gotta stay involved in your child's life, because people will abuse your child to get back at you because of something that's happened to them. Because I'm going through that right now. And a lot of it goes back to the leadership. It's all tied in. When black men come into consciousness, you get ridiculed so bad. Like, you want them Afrocentric, sage burning, green tea drinking type mode. Don't listen to him. And, you want them red fish, blue fish type. And the women initially are curious about it, but when you put your foot down and be like, hey, look, I'm not being cute, I'm being serious. Like, this is not nothing that I'm not a hotep host. I'm not saying this to be cute. I'm saying it because I'm actually going to do it. And if you're having my child, this is what we're going to do. And you will receive so much more flack from that than you ever would selling dope on the street. They'll tolerate that. They'll tolerate you getting locked up. They'll tolerate you, even cheating on them. They'll even tolerate you dealing with white women before they tolerate you letting them know that, look, I'm the man in the family. I'm not raising a biological or a mental slave. So certain stuff I'm just not going to tolerate. And you receive so much flack, and it just ends up being discouraging because so many black men have failed. You just lost. Like you were saying earlier, we have so many people that's posturing themselves as leaders, and it just ends up being embarrassing because the stuff that they saying ain't coinciding with what they doing. And you look at yourself, and okay, I'm trying to make a change, but who can I trust to help me do it? Because, like, the part of town I'm in, there's so many vacant buildings, like hotels, former restaurants. There's so many facilities that if a determined group of black people was to be like, look, let's gentrify this area and turn it into something where people want to come to, it's there for the taking. But it's so embarrassing as a black man to see what white people do to a black neighborhood. Like you were talking about the documentary about the Jews and how they just came and took over. We're not doing that. So when you try to get your point across to people, when you try to, gather the troops and gather allies and tell them what you're trying to do, like, oh man, black folks can't do that. Like, how do you deal with that embarrassment of being a black man trying to make life better for black people around you? Like, how do y'all deal with that humiliation of being black and our lack of productivity since the 1890 land grant schools were founded?
Well, let's see. Maybe some other men will raise their hand to answer your question. But you know what, Dietrich? I think that what you said was important about, because like this particular video I was talking about, this lady was warning women against conscious brothers. But then it's like all the chief speaks we used to get, even some now, the first thing we hear that a woman wants, she wants a brother that's conscious. But it's like when you ask them, what is that? have no clue, what that is. So I think it's just, I don't think it has anything to do with the consciousness. I don't think it has anything to do with, like you said, with men trying to assert themselves. It's just women that don't like men, and women who, like Chief has said, has made themselves. They're an agent for the system. So it's like they're going to rebel against anything. You could be a spineless man. You know what I mean? But if you're doing anything to like put your foot down about anything or trying to own your own business, whatever it may be, like that agentship just kicks in, and people are just gonna rail against you.
You know what? I think you're right because what I noticed because and like I said, I'm really going to have to get serious about shooting this documentary. I said I was going to shoot because I end up interviewing a lot of people where I work at, and when I ask the sisters like, what is a real man to you? Like, what's a real man? What's your ideal husband?
Mm-hmm.
50% of them don't know what it is
right.
at all, no clue. And the other 50%, to make a long story short, describe a service. So I'm like, okay, how is it? And it goes back to the fact that black people are born in America in a state of cognitive dissonance. You want one thing, but you don't want the thing that comes along with it. So you want a strong black man, but you want to be the boss.
Right.
That's not going to happen. That's a little bit insane. But they'll say they want a man that the first thing they say, and I was talking to a sister about this, is that the first thing they say is they want a man that's gonna put up with their mess.
Mhm.
Why would you want to do it to somebody and expect them to love you, take care of you, not cheat on you, do all this stuff? But the starting criteria is you have to put up with my mess. And that's what I went through with my child's mom. Like, she would constantly test me to see what she could get away with when she knew an issue was important to me. And I'm like, look, I don't have time to play like that because the society that my black son has been born into, he can't afford to play devil's advocate. He has to be decisive, and he can't allow people to play devil's advocate with him when it comes to who he is. Because people are going to want to control who he is. So this playing you're doing is not cute. It's not about you anymore. It's not about me anymore. It's about us and instilling confidence in himself. That way, when he comes against people who don't respect him or his parents, he won't fold and resort to cooning or selling out in order to stay comfortable. Like the sister has said, they just don't want to get in trouble. Like, I don't want to get fired. Yeah, he's not paying me overtime like he's paying a white boy overtime. But at least I got a job. I got a family to take care of. You take this stuff on the chin, and then you come home and mistreat your family because they mistreated you at work, and you allow it. So that's the question I want to pose to the people if they got time to answer or whatever. How do you deal with the embarrassment of being a black man in society where we have lost so much? Every movement, every leader, we literally lost it, and we're still losing. Like, how do we stop that? And how do you deal with the humiliation of it?
All right. So, I'm gonna mute you, Deidre, because you got a lot of background noise back there.
Okay, good.
Okay. Diedrich posed the question, like, how do you deal with the constant rejection? How do you deal with the embarrassment of trying to be, I guess, that alpha male that has a plan and that's trying to get something done? Just going off of what Chief said in the last Chief Speaks show on Sunday, like, I would say that, and I'm not a man, so let me start there. So I might be, I could be wrong. But I would just think that, like, an alpha male would not even let that bother them, what someone else thinks, or they would not feel the embarrassment. Now, I know Chief said something about sometimes they go into a deep depression. It could be a deep depression or a violent depression because of it. But I also know that certain alpha men, like it's a, either roll with me or get rolled over kind of thing. It's like either, you get on board with what I'm doing and this is what we're doing, or you can leave. So they don't have those things, those attachments to certain things that women can kind of play around with and say, well, if you really love me, you'll do blah, 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 blah. Or if you really want to be with me, then you would do this. Or, they don't have those attachments like that. And they can kind of, they know the games that women play. So it's like either you get with the program or you don't. So I don't know. That's just kind of what I got from some of the things that Chief has taught. But like I said, I'm not a man, so I could be wrong on this. And maybe that's a question that we can revisit on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, if you are one of our male listeners, I'd like to hear from you. And Dietrich would like to get some answers. How do you deal with the rejection, the frustration, the embarrassment, all of the negative energy that comes your way when you're trying or when you're doing the right, being so, low on the totem pole, so to speak? Like, how do you deal with that type of energy just constantly coming at you all the time? Do you, like she said, do you go into a violent depression? Do you go into this deep depression, or, just what do you do and how do you get the energy to continue? I think Chief would be a good person to answer that because he deals with it all the time, especially doing the type of work that he does, giving away so much of his time and energy to people who don't take things that he tells, that he advises them to do to help the situation. It's exhausting. But, he continues to reach out to that community. Like you said, he's been doing this for over 26 years or so. So, imagine trying to help your people for 26 years and constantly getting the rejection and, being ostracized and, all these other things coming at you to stop you from doing that. So I think that's something that we can probably talk about on Tuesday. We're coming to the end of the show. I just want to say thank you to everyone who called in and to all the listeners. And until Tuesday, make sure you go to SaduluHouse.com and A New Life Global to sign up for if you're a woman and you'd like to join what we're doing, or if you're a man, because there's a group for the men as well. So make sure you sign up and visit SaduluHouse.com for classes. Until Tuesday, enjoy the remainder of your day. Peace.